everyone. I'm happy to see you at the end of the event. And for the first time in Moldova Electronics Forum, we decided to approach to approach the topic that is very important, the topic of human resources. And I would like to invite the companies that will help us discuss about the most important practices to retain talents. We are discussing about a company, an international company with a subsidiary, with a facility in Brașov, Miele, Tehnica. Aurelia, Florea, the head of the human resources company. Hello, I hope you can hear me. Now I would like to invite on the stage Mr. Ruslan Cunup, manager of Steinel Electronic from the Republic of Moldova. And I would like to invite Madam Alina Timotin, manager in the tax department for PwC. We intended to tackle some strategic topics. I would like to know whether Madam Florea managed to connect. Yes, I can see you. Good afternoon, Madam Florea. Good afternoon. Can you hear us? Yes, thank you. I'm happy that you are here with us today. And I would like to ask you to share with us at the third edition of Moldova Electronics Forum the good practices used by Miele to retain staff in the company. Yes, hello everyone, and thank you for the invitation. Throughout the years, we have collaborated several times with the Moldova Electronic Forum and ACEM. And in my intervention, I will tell you shortly about the good practices, what we have used in Brașov to attract and maintain key persons in the organizations, and what we have done to attract young graduates. I will share my screen with your permission. Please let me know if you can see my presentation. Can you see the presentation? Could you confirm? No, not yet. I'll go back. Let's check again. I don't have this option activated. We need some patience. It should work. I've used this before. You will be granted access soon, but maybe you could have a short oral introduction about the activity of Miele. I have some slides, but I will tell you about this. Miele, Romania has been present for 15 years. We're Miele, not Miele. This is a German company with a tradition of more than 125 years. This year we are celebrating 125 years. In Brașov, since 2009, we have developed the part on home appliances. We have the software development, and since 2020 we have hardware development. We have more than 400 employees because the figure is dynamic. There's more than 400 persons in our company, and we are happy to see diversity because besides production, we have software technology, global IT, and everything that means living in Brasov and preparing infrastructure for Australia, for other parts of the world. There's a huge potential for developing skills. So you could live in the Republic of Moldova and have your skills recognized at the international level. I haven't received the permission to share screen. Our colleagues are saying that you could try again now. This shows again that the human potential will be harnessed in all times, and that the human factor will be more important than intelligence or technologies. Just a second, I have here a colleague. It should be working, maybe not yet. Please let me know whether you can see. Just a short overview so that you can understand who you are. We've been in Brasov since 2009. We have three divisions: smart electronic, software technologies, and since this fall, we will have the electromechanics and the technology part. If we look back, Miele is a home appliance brand, and it is said that if you have bought a Miele product, you will not change it for 20 years. And in order to support this statement, I will show you this graph showing the number of test hours for each separate product, so that you can see that we are a sustainable product, and this means that we are not changing the appliances, and we are not using energy for this and raw materials. Regarding the strategic approaches, I have tried, and I think that I have managed to do this in Miele, to look towards the future. 2030 is in 6 years, 2050 is in 20 years. And if we know what are the directions we can prepare for the future. Probably most of us have children at home, maybe some of us already have grandchildren, and the future shows that more than 65% of the jobs of the future is not something that our children are prepared for. 90% of our employees prefer to work from wherever they want, not from wherever we say they should. 91% of the jobs are fully technologized.
When we go next, I will show you that in 2030, 2050, we will already have six generations of employees in the organization, and we shall not come with a cane, the stick to work, but we think that there are people, even though if they do not use a cane to come to work, we have 60 plus aged employees. So we think about being able to integrate those aged 60 and 70, but we need a lot of flexibility and dynamics. And I think that a result that might help all of us is to be open and to understand the needs of every generation, to understand, to be aware of their needs. And when I say that, I mean that a young person from the Generation Z who are very digital focused. I have two children at home, and one is from Alpha and the second from Z generation. And I cannot just tell them read the instruction and this to bring results. They are very different, and so everything should be done digital and on according to their understanding. And And we need to be open in that sense to understand the needs of these generations and to bring them as closer to us as possible. In Brasov, we've tried to create an organizational culture, a healthy one, which encourages all the generations to work together, to listen to each other, and to be able to create an environment in which they feel good, every of them. And this will bring to a better employee retention, but also create a better customer experience. And I reiterate that the premium customer experience, because we work as a premier company, this helps a lot to be a preferred employer. Well, it comes from itself that when we work together, regardless of the dynamics of things, this is possible to be done in a common united team. And we might start from a mentor that is older to a younger person. For example, a technician might help and create a future MEF. I know maybe you have this concept, this process. We also are doing so in Romania. All the generations are valuable. So let me bring you some example when we talk about the employer of choice, not employer of cash. So this is about creating a great experience, and for that we need all the ingredients. In 2021, we've conducted a survey, and this took into consideration the dynamics and the different visions of different generations. We've included 4 topics, and these topics will be brought into discussion. Were brought into discussion by our colleagues, and from that we developed the employer of choice program. The idea resulting from this was to create a different kind of office, to develop in all kind of directions, and to let them develop in all the directions they want. This made them understand that they are part of the organization and that their work has a meaning. Now, let me go further and show you that, for example, when we ask our colleagues what do they want, we do not just go directly ask and then forget what they said. We had a program of 4 months in which we've approached in a structured way the idea of bringing clarity, strategy, and to bring transparency, and to understand that we can do this only together, and to understand that the future is ours only if we all contribute together. People said they want flexible workplaces, at least the young generation. If we look at the software technology perspective, our facility in Feldiwara, for those who do not know the region, our facility is in a region 20 kilometers away from Brasov. And for the software technology division, it was quite hard to come to this point. In that case, we've rented workplaces in Forest campus and area, and they rented some offices. They have offices to work there. So we reached the conclusion that it doesn't matter where you work from, as long as you have good results. So, moreover, once we've understood and we satisfied their needs, we become the preferred employer. Next, we mentioned about working in partnership. Yes, we have a very active partnership in everything related to education, with the academia, also with the economic sector. And during those 15 years, we've looked very well at the competencies that the sector request and how this have evolved during in time. It's not necessarily that the education sector will teach us how to become creative or how to manage our feelings, but I would rather say that that's the way in which we interact, the way in which we know each other, and take into account that we want to develop this in the future generation. We involve them in a lot of educational projects, and I've heard that we have here a colleague from Steinel, and in Brasov we are part of the extracurricular project Infratron, which means that children from 5th to 12th grades, we teach them together with the students from Transylvanian University to develop some robots. Infotronics means informatics, robotronics, and mechatronics. So we start teaching them from the early age to choose a faculty at university which seems appropriate for them. We have 7 active universities in partnership with Miele, Romania, in Suceava, Cluj, and we are very eager to support everything related to the future generation. Next, you shall know that we focus not only on students, but we focus also on teachers. We've brought them to our facility, and we've tried to let the faculties in Brasov at least to understand that there's a different dynamics in business than in university environment, and the need to and to adjust to the change should be done rapidly. We cannot wait 3, 4, 5 years to have approved the specialization, but we need to work a lot and to join our forces as economic operators in order to adjust the curriculum structure to our needs. If we go even further, you can see here some pictures from different projects that we've implemented and in which we engage with children. You can see children from the 5th grade. You shall know that we do not employ children from 5th grade, but we try to engage them in projects to let them understand what's the passion for a job and how to focus to choose a technical vocation, technical career. Also, we focused on a workshop in 2020, and you shall see here a short video of 2 minutes. Please confirm that you can hear and see. I think you cannot hear the sound. I think you cannot hear the sounds. We do not, but we can see this. So what I'm trying to say is that we went to Bucharest. We've conducted this workshop with 9 teams of students from different specializations. They didn't know each other. We've chosen students from 2nd and 3rd years. 9 teams that work during the day, and at the end of the day, they've developed some machine toys. They made them work. It's very pleasant, that very good to see students that stay during all the day in the room without even wanting to eat or drink in order to develop these models of appliances to make them work. I know that our appliances even go to the Technical University in Chisinau to see and to share this university, this experience with the students from Technical University. I'm really sorry that the sound is not working. Then I will stop sharing the video right now. I will share it with Elena, and later on maybe you will share it with the audience. Now let me go further. There are a few of the programs that we have for the students and for the academia in general. And if there are companies in the room, you should know that this is not a vain in terms of investment. 90% of the employees have come from the academic activities we've done in the academia. So the most important thing is that the employee comes with the company because they had an experience and they have got familiarized with the Miele world, and they come because they want to work in our world. Here we have the feel the Miele spirit. We've got a few pictures which shows you how we work together. And when a person comes for the first day in our company, they have all the information at one click distance. It's very complex. because it's one person in a big world. That's why it's very important to know what's the next steps. So we try to give this information. We have our family day. You can see the images here, and even though we have 60 or 40 anniversary, we try to celebrate this, to have this inclusion element, because we have a lot of labels applied saying that if you are age 45, we are not already able to be employed in a company. When we talk about how important it is to keep people close to you, in that sense, we need to let them know that they are important. We need to understand their needs, to engage with them, to involve, to or let them know you care. So we have here the images of our colleagues who wanted to be with us, not because we imposed them. We are very active in our work in Brasov, and I think that it's very important when we talk about employee experience. We need to talk about the holistic experience, and this should not be only about the human resources department that employed them. It should be about every and each of us. Be with this colleague, a subordinate, or the head, the leader. Even though the person leaves the organization, we have a positive image about that person. So we need to leave a positive image about us in the organization, to let the story about that person leaving the organization. I think that this slide is very interesting, and I encourage the community in Chisinau, in the Republic of Moldova, to learn to work as a team, to solve Legos, not only Jengas. And the experience that we have in Brasov with Trones, with Simas, Steiner, and others, we are all competent and good on the labor market. But at the same time, we've understood that without an active involvement from all the economic operators, we cannot have the impact that we want. And so I encourage you to join your forces and to have one voice approach, single approach. And for those who want to follow us to understand what we are doing, we encourage them to follow us on social media. That was all from my side. Maybe you have questions, or maybe there are things that might be discussed now, so I am at your disposal. Thank you very much, Madam Aurelia, for your very consistent, very complex presentation about the activity of the company. And when we talk about the educational activities that are promoted by Miele in Romania, we want to mention that Miele has made a donation for the Technical University from Moldova. It was a batch of 10 educational machines, appliances that will be used by the students from Technical University from Moldova to study the embedded systems. And in this sense, I want to invite here on the stage Mr. Ivana Babi, the representative of Technical University from Moldova. It's actually the dean that has managed to join us. It's Mr. Dumitru Ciorba, and I'd like to award you, to give you a donation that was prepared by Miele Company for the third edition of Moldova Electronics Forum.
Thank you. We have several events, but I could not miss this event. Miele is very well known in Chisinau. And I want it to be known not only as end products, but also as a good employer. And what we will receive in Chisinau at the Technical University of Moldova will be fully used, so that we understand exactly what is requested or what is the demand for in the industry. This is very relevant for our courses and the students who will work directly with technologies. We want to have real technologies that are implemented. We continue to be open for such offers so that we try to adapt our programs and place in the labs exactly what you need. And we should have more than labs. We should understand how to adapt our subjects, the theory, so that we plant those seeds. I would like to thank everyone who made this donation possible and to thank Miele. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Dean. I would like to thank you, Madam Aurelia, and I have a final question for you. What is, in your opinion, like, or what will the labor market be like in 15 years from the point of view of the human resources? Will artificial intelligence take all the jobs, or will still have something left for us? Everyone is somehow scared of this AI. I would say that we should not be afraid because we will always have other opportunities. We need to be open and to embrace change. And maybe we should think about reskilling. Some skills can be used in a different direction that could bring more value to the organization with less effort from the person. And I encourage our colleagues who are scared of the robots and were saying that they will take the jobs. I tell them that it's better when the robot lifts that weight of 5 kilograms. The idea is to not be scared and to embrace the change. Thank you for the invitation, and I will be next to you each time. I would like to thank you, Madam Aurelia. We appreciate your availability to take part in the event. And we will continue to explore the opportunities in human resources from Steinel, which has already been active in the Republic of Moldova for more than 15 years. Mr. Ruslan Cunup, the manager of the company, please share the best practices implemented by your company in the area of human resources. I know that Steinel is also a social company. Could you give us more details on this? How are the processes organized? Good afternoon. In terms of staff, I'm not sure whether we can say that we are professionals. We can say for sure that we are in the initial phase. We are learning all the time. But what we have done well, from my point of view, was the fact that we changed the way of thinking of the leadership so that we could listen to the other colleagues and together to be able to take the best decisions. And I was actually discussing with some of my colleagues about the attrition and we could not complain, and we have nothing to brag on about this. But currently, I would say that if we had more turnover, we had more opportunities to make improvements. I know that in Steinel you have a certain number of employees that have special needs. You categorize yourself as a social company. Could you please share your experiences as it is difficult? Is it difficult to work with such persons, and how did you adapt to this? If we are discussing about persons with special needs, we could talk for 2 days. I will try to be brief. It's already a long time since we hired the first employees with special needs. Of course, at the beginning we were a bit reluctant. We didn't know how this would be, but currently we could say that it is worth doing this and that they should be treated just like other colleagues, other employees. First of all, I'm telling everyone when we are discussing about persons with special needs that this is me, because I have a big belly and I cannot bend over and tie my shoelaces. I'm also a person with special needs. In my team, we have approximately 10% persons, not persons like me, but we are discussing about persons with hearing and speaking impairments, persons with mobility impairments. And sometimes they come to the production section and you want to ask a question, and if you see that they cannot, they don't hear, this means that they cannot do this, and then you can write to them and they will understand. And I always said that the persons who cannot hear and cannot speak have a very nice smile. When they smile, they give you a lot of positive energy, and this is wonderful. We do not treat them differently in any way. They are working just like other persons, and it is going well. I know that Steinel has approximately 300 employees in the factory from the Republic of Moldova. It is quite difficult to manage such a high number of employees. And I would like to know what are your policies on the life-work balance for employees. Because we spend most of our time at work, and then some different consequences can arise. First of all, we are a family. In families, we have nice moments, unpleasant moments, but in the end, we are still a family. We try to solve all issues within the family. In order to manage conflicts better, of course, there are different methods for analysis, for personal motivation, and so on. There's a lot to discuss about our staff. Periodically, we have a survey among our employees, and there's a set of questions. There are some observations that our colleagues need to put down, and then we analyze them and try to solve all situations if possible. We even had situations, we can say that we have periodically such cases when a group of persons come with a demand. This might be related to the salaries, to the labor conditions, and we need to be open and to present shortly data and come up with solutions. First of all, we learned how to listen to the other colleagues, and I will not name them employees. What about professional development within the company? There's a lot to discuss about this also. To give you some examples, we have colleagues who have started from the position of assembler, and they have become chief of departments. And there are many examples in that sense. We have trainings each year in all areas, and this is how we try to increase their qualification. And if there is a vacancy for a higher position, we'll look internally, first of all, to see whether there are any colleagues that would like to be promoted. If we don't find anyone for that position, we search outside. But I would say that 99% of the persons are promoted internally. Everyone is terrified of robotization, 4.0 industry, AI. Is there a fear of employees of being replaced with technologies among employees? Well, we are discussing about equipment that will produce equipment with the brand of Steinel. I cannot answer on behalf of the whole team, but I think there is no fear about this. Recently, we implemented a system that helps us digitalize daily activities. I haven't seen any comments or negative reactions so far. We know that after a certain age, persons are more reluctant to change, and younger persons, if there is no change, get bored. So we try to have a balance for everyone and to explain that change should be permanent, because if we don't have change, we will not progress. Thank you, Ruslan. I invite you to learn more about the activity of Steinel, because this is an example of companies that has implemented the human resources practices to retain talents in the Republic of Moldova. And talking about talents, we cannot omit the topic of salaries. This is one of the incentives offered by companies to retain employees in the Republic of Moldova. And in our association, with the support of the project Strong Communities implemented by GIS Moldova, have implemented the project on salaries and incentives in this sector. And I would like to invite Alina, Timotin, manager of the tax department from PwC, to tell us about the results of the first research in the area of electronics. Thank you, Elena, for the invitation. First of all, I would like to thank everyone who participated to the study from the electronics area, and also the donors. I'm happy to be here with you. And from what I understand, my presentation is the last from today's event. This is why I think that the presentation about salaries will be like dessert at the end of the event. Could we share the presentation? This activity was indeed supported by the project Enterprises and Communes for Moldova, financed by the Ministry of Germany for Economic Cooperation and Development, and by the government of Switzerland. And this was implemented by GIZ Moldova. The presentation will have two big parts. We will discuss about the macroeconomic situation, and then we'll go to the data on salaries. And when we reach that part, I think that the figures speak for themselves. I like numbers a lot, but I think everyone likes salaries, and the more figures there are in the salary, the better. What is the current economic situation? We've had a moderate increase in the GDP of 0.7%. The inflation rate has decreased significantly. This is because in the summer of 2022, the inflation, or 2023, it was very high, and now it is lower. The inflation rate is very important in 2022, when the inflation rate was so high. Some companies increased salaries not once per year, but twice per year to make up for the increase in prices. We've had a 45% increase in the number of employees, and the unemployment rate was below 5%. The unemployment rate has increased in the last 2 years, but this is one of the lowest rates in the region. This is something that we are proud of, but I don't think this is the actual rate, because there are many people that are not working and are not registered as unemployed. What is the ranking of Moldova? How does it look like in the area from the point of the e-government, of technologization, of the speed of the internet? I would like to say that this is a very good position because we are beyond the average. We have had 132 iterations, and we are on the 60th place, for example, in the innovation index. If you are discussing about the speed of the internet, we are one of the leaders on the 40th place. Although there were slight changes, fluctuations, and Moldova decreased a bit. Regarding the offer from each employer, this impacts the living expenses. And we made an analysis to see what are the living expenses in Moldova. Lately, they have increased quite a lot. And the rent for a one-room apartment is approximately 400 euros. The utilities are approximately 200 euros. So this is also not for a big flat. If we were to go out to a restaurant for dinner or lunch, you would have to spend approximately 30 euros per person. The transportation costs 6 lei per each ticket. This goes up to 4,000 lei per month. This is for rent, and we approximated 600 euros approximately for each person. If we look beyond the costs to what the Republic of Moldova is offering, because beyond the costs that are registered for individuals, there are also opportunities, especially for those who want to invest here, for the companies who want to operate here. It is important to mention the IT park with the single tax level. The local taxes, the income tax for enterprises, the free economic zones, the industrial parks that offer support to obtain authorizations, support for infrastructure development, for purchasing land, for construction at a capped price. So all these facilities, which are tax-related or related to other aspects, they attract investors to the Republic of Moldova. Now we are drawing back closer to the electronic sector because the study was focused on this. In the PayWell study that has been carried out for more than 10 years. We used to cover more industry, but this year we are happy to say that the study expanded to electronics, and 11 companies took part in it. Some were very large, some smaller. Many were from production area, but also service providers. We included part of their activities in this slide, inclusively repair works, trade and production, electronic equipment, computers, automotive. And before getting to our study, we tried to have a broader analysis to encompass a larger share of the market, and we selected 28 companies. We extracted the balance sheets from the National Bureau of Statistics because they have data for each year. The latest data is for 2022. And These 28 companies had approximately 12,000 companies. After analyzing the data for these companies, we understood that the average salaries are between 6,360 and 33,000 lei. And we wanted to see how much profit this brings. Indeed, there is a range from losses of approximately 2 million, and the companies that come to this market don't have profits from the beginning. Initially, maybe the activity is not very profitable, but in time, after developing certain tools, after hiring more persons, they start earning profits. And this can be very high. We have seen companies with 330 million lei. If we divide this to the number of employees, we saw that these companies could have an employee that has 20,000 euros per year in profits. Of course, there are companies that have higher incomes. What is the profile of the workforce? In 2023-2024, we have 21 higher educational institutions where we have more than 56,000 students enrolled. Approximately 14,000 students graduated, and the structure of the students is okay from the point of view of the gender equality. We have men and women, and if we are looking at the areas in interest, many were involved in economics, law, administration, but there are also students that prefer IT, engineering, architecture, construction. And if we were to add up the numbers for IT and engineering, we can reach 20% of the total number of students.
While conducting this study, we understood that the electronic sector does not look for students who only have graduated from higher education institutions, technical education. They look for people graduating from colleges or centers of excellence, of those who are taught actually have learned and they learn the skills, and that's something extraordinary. Now we get to the interesting part, which is my favorite part, and that's about the salary. And I believe most of you like this. Most of you take it as a sensitive part, but also quite attractive to understand what's the salary market in Europe. The 11 companies from the electronics sector registered incomes because we say that the income structure is balanced. We have companies that go beyond 11 millions or 27 have incomes under 10 million. If you look at the structure of the staff, that's also balanced because 18% of the companies 80% of companies have a smaller number of staff but are under 10 people. But there are also companies that have more than 100 up to 500 people. And there are also companies that have just one person staff. When we look at investments, again, we have different landscapes. So some companies have investments from Germany, France, Italy, Switzerland. Other companies might have a mixed structure of investments. But there are also local investments, companies that work with investments from Moldova. Most companies have their headquarters, their office in Chisinau, but we have also companies that are in Bălți, Comrat, Strășeni, and I tend to believe that Bălți is in a free economic zone. Well, their place of activity is influenced by some fiscal facilities or some more benefiting regimes which are provided by Moldova. And we finally reached the part related to the figures. I've tried not to put all the information, all the figures on a slide, so I've classified this on 4 departments. We start with administrative staff salary on average based on the data collected from the electronic sector companies, and an HR person would have a salary of 18,017, and I've rounded a little bit the figures, and an HR manager, the one who works on attracting talent, have a salary of 29,700, and slightly higher. And there is an IT manager that has internal staff. It's because for the IT service providers, its situation is different. A simple accountant has an average salary of 16,700 lei per month. We next go to the production department. An operator, on average, has a salary of almost 10,000 lei. A team lead in the production sector basically has a double salary compared to the operator, has 19,400, and manager doubles the salary of the team leader. Obviously, this is a strict correlation with the task that this position have and with the competencies they should have. In terms of electronic engineering, an engineer has a salary of 23,000, and the technician, the maintenance inspector, has a salary of around 19,100. We next go to the logistics side. Warehouse specialist, warehouse officer start from a salary of 12,800, and the warehouse manager, supply chain manager have close salaries 29,000 or 30,600. And in terms of quality control, quality assurance, the specialist has 11,000 lei, and the quality assurance manager or engineer has 32,000 and more. Well, we've tried to compare the data with the previous country because we have just one study. Because PricewaterhouseCoopers, they conducted the same study in Romania, and some positions were also measured in Romania. We start with the IT sector, and indeed, IT sector is one of the best paid sectors. On average, the salary in the IT sector is 40,000 lei. We can see here several figures. This is the gross salary in the IT park. The gross and net salary are equal due to the most favorable conditions. So what we can see here, actually, the difference between Moldova and Romania, for example, for a developer is double. Difference is double. For a programmer or engineer is 60% higher in Romania, but the Romanian employers would incur higher costs to employ such a specialist. And for the full-stack developer, front-end and back-end, I think the salary is 30% higher in Romania. We've talked about Romania, but we failed to mention actually the salary taxes in Romania to understand that difference between gross and net salaries. We need to understand the fiscal burden from the point of view of a salary for an employer in Romania and in Moldova. And if we are to add all these taxes, we have basically the same amount. But the idea is that the social contributions are paid by the company and not by the employee. That's why companies or employees in Romania, when they are employed, they ask to understand what's the net salary, because the taxes are actually about half of the salary they receive. We've mentioned the salary cost for an investor, the production department, but along with the with the other payments, the taxes, we've included the social contribution. So we want to understand what are the difference between Romania and Moldova. There are situations when in Romania and Moldova the costs for investors are double. For example, for the production manager, there are also lower discrepancies, but quite significant. 30%, it's not such a small difference. In some cases, we have, for example, 60% for the production team leader, because in Moldova we have 24,000, in Romania 39,200. All the salary costs, including the taxes. Alongside with the cash benefits, the employees want to have some facilities, some benefits, and we talk about non-cash benefits. Uh, Even exactly in 2024, the fiscal code was amended, and several benefits were included related to benefiting favorable fiscal treatment, which allowed the employers to extend the range of benefits, child care services, sport cards or vouchers, but it's in a limited amount, but still that's an opportunity for the employers. The company in the electronics sector provide a wide range of services, starting from tea, coffee, which is provided in the office, mobile communication services. Different events are organized, and that we've noticed that's a benefit that favors a lot the employees, especially after the pandemic, because they want the staff to be more unified. They give the possibility for the employees to come and to leave the office at what to come to the office and leave the office at what hour they want, not to have a strict schedule. Transport costs covered, study a foreign language, or work from home, but the electronic sector does not always include this possibility, because there are some areas where the employee is not cannot basically work from home. They need to come to the office. Or different other benefits on different occasions, anniversary, wedding, and so on and so forth. The average employee per year of salary per year is the average of the benefits per employee per year is almost 3,900 per year. Next, we've tried to bring an analysis of salaries according to the salaries. What we see on the screen now, it's not characteristic for the entire industry, but at least the positions that we've analyzed mention that we have two-thirds women and one-third men, and the discrepancy in the wages is basically double. And this difference is not per every position, it's a general discrepancy. And if we get the data for 250 operators, if we have 200 women and 50 men, it's clear that when we do the average per the entire population, the wages of women will be lower, because the men, hierarchically, from managerial point of view, have higher positions. We have more men in managerial positions. What's the estimated increase of the wages, salaries for 2024? Basically, this 10.3% was reported by all the participants that we've had in the last period. We've had more than 72 companies plus 8 companies from NGO at the beginning of the 2024, and we had the rest of the companies from the electronic sector. This forecast is not necessarily to match the reality. For example, in 2022, we had an increase in the salaries of almost 11% forecasted, but actually the companies developed by 14%. The salaries in the companies were increased more than the companies proposed, estimated, or intended to, but now we had the higher inflation and lower inflation, and the salaries are different, are higher. So the situation is coming to a good situation. So 45% of the electronic sector plan to increase the salary for specialists in 2024. 36% of specialists said that they offer possibility to work from home, and 55% participants from the electronic sector are looking to recruit blue-collar and skilled professional, meaning that they don't have to have skills from the beginning. They do not need from the beginning trained people with higher education, master's degree. There are indeed eligible candidates from colleges that would cope very well. We've spoken previously about the turnover uh, situation which characterizes all or most of the industries. Yes, there's a high turnover of staff for this sector. The employment rate is 51%, and the average termination rate is 36%. What's good? Yes, we see that there's a difference between the rate of employment rate of termination. This difference about 20 or 15%. It means that the employment is higher than the living rate. And I'll conclude by mentioning the pros, the attractiveness of this sector, and I'll mention the legislative framework in Moldova. First of all, we have some operational costs that are very attractive, and I've said that, and I've seen also about the salaries. The IT paradox is that the gross amount in IT in Romania is higher, but if we go from gross to net, in Moldova the net amount is higher than in Romania. And we have different fiscal facilities and other facilities like IT parks, free economic zones, industrial zones. We also have a strategic geographical position on the close to the European market. We have the support of the government, of the authorities, that was mentioned also today. They are looking for different tools to attract investments in Moldova. We have the labor force that has quite an extended capacity, and we have also talents here because indeed people are special. And we also have the fiscal framework that is meant to ensure the well-being of the employees, and we can go back here to the fiscal benefits for 2024. In the end, I'll say that behind a company, there's not necessarily one person, there's a whole team. And based on all the discussions that were held today, I understood that there are some special teams that are meant to ensure the progress and the success of the electronic sector. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Alina, for the presentation, this interactive presentation, and the general overview of the electronics industry. We are coming to the end of our panel, and I'd like to kindly ask our both participants to come with some suggestions for the future generation. I'd like Mr. Cunup to express a suggestion from the perspective of the company, and Alina to express a suggestion from the perspective of integrating mainstreaming talents in the labor market. Is it worth it or not to become part of the electronic sector in Moldova? Maybe we'll start with Alina. I think, yes, it's worth it. First of all, my advice is that the potential employees should follow the labor market trends to embark on something, to embrace something, even the AI, artificial intelligence, because I believe the artificial intelligence will not steal the jobs, but together with the people will help the electronic sector develop. So I'm very positive in this regard. I really believe that the electronic sector has a high potential of development, and companies have a lot of opportunities to develop here in Moldova. Well, we as a company, we are involved, first of all, in the dual education system, and in that sense, we cooperate both with vocational schools and with colleges and even universities. Therefore, I tend to believe, or I hope, that more and more students or future employees will choose this sector. And if I recall moments in time when I was student in university, few students used to choose the electronic sector. But now when I discuss with people from university, I see that there's a high number of students compared to 10 or 15 years ago. This is why I think that's the future. This is something interesting, and in my opinion, electronics is interesting that because it's tangible. We can touch it. The IT and the other elements are not so tangible. Thank you very much for your answers, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe you have some questions, some additional questions for our participants. Well, if not, then I want to thank you very much for your time. I really hope that this panel was interesting for you. I wish you good luck in your professional activity, and please try to and encourage you to keep the talents at home to promote their performance locally and why not internationally. Thank you very much.